Really feeling that music tonight. Hope you're well. Thank you so much for joining me. Always great to have you here. If you don't know, every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, one of the admins, myself or Nat, go live on behalf of Cricket for Australians, and we want to teach you something new, hopefully. If you don't know who I am, my name's Paul. I'm Scissors Paper Paul on Instagram, Facebook, and on YouTube. And if you're not following me on Instagram, you need to jump over right now because I've got a competition going to thank all of you for following me. I'm at 5,000, which I just cannot believe, and I've got a great giveaway, and you've got less than a week to enter, and you could be the lucky winner. Also, the projects that I share tonight and in all my lives, I also share those project links in a pinned post on my Facebook page as well, so make sure you following me on Facebook as well. And of course, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and then you'll be notified of all of my content each and every week. But I'm here to share my cricket knowledge, expertise with you so that you can master these incredible machines and products, and ultimately I want you to make beautiful things. So tonight, we're going to be all about vinyl. If you're a beginner, you're in the right place. If you know vinyl, hopefully I've got some great tips. So hopefully you'll learn something tonight as well. I'm not going to be cutting because you can see lots of my videos on my channel. If you want to see cutting vinyl, I'll talk about cutting this particular vinyl, but it's all about design, some tricks, and we're going to do the application as well, which is super, super exciting. So I'm just going to jump into the comments and see who's here. I saw Suzette's here and Brenton, thank you, the regulars. If you're new to my channel as well, type new in the comments because I honestly do want to get to meet you. I love to find out where everyone's from. And if you've got any questions, if you can type them in capitals, it'll just make it a little bit easier to find them. So Yvonne's here. Welcome, Yvonne. Thanks for joining. Mark's here. Yay. I don't know if I've had you on one of my lives before, Mark. I know you from Cricket for Australians, so welcome. Linda's here. Hope Chris is with you. Yes, it's crazy. 5,000 followers on Instagram. Honestly, I never thought. I remember thinking, oh my gosh, will I get to 500? And it wasn't that long ago. So thank you. I really do honestly appreciate all your support on this channel, on all of my socials. It really does mean the world. And in fact, I'm just going to say with my Instagram competition, I was just going to say, tell me what you want to make with cricket, in 25 words or less. But I decided to change it up a little and say, tell me what crafting, making, DIY means to you. And I have been blown away by the responses. And to be honest, mostly because I can resonate with a lot of it. For me, crafting really is the only time I can tune out the family. I can tune out the kids. I can tune out work, particularly over the last 12 months. It's me time. It's that, being a little bit selfish and just doing something that's all about me and just really helping with my mindfulness and really elevating my mental health. And that's what you guys are actually saying on Instagram, which blew my mind because I'm like, yes, I'm not the only one. Kate's here. Yay. Welcome, Kate. You're new. Fantastic. Thank you. Again, make sure you hit the subscribe button and you won't miss out on any of my content going forward. Karen's here. Chris. Yes. Always. Lots of the regulars. Gail's here as well. Sharon. Oh, so good to see you guys. Michelle, thank you for joining me. Another Sharon's here. We've got Diana. Well, there's heaps of people in the house tonight. Brilliant. So good to have you here. I will get you to your questions. Oh, Mark's here all the way from... Oh, you're new? Where are you from, Mark? Let me know. I want to know where you're from. And Diana's saying she's a newbie from Sydney. Switched from another machine to a Cricket Maker. Awesome. Well, if you've got any questions at all about the Cricket Maker, make sure you let me know. If you're Australian or from New Zealand, links are in the description as well in terms of, getting to my Facebook page, Instagram, but also Cricket for Australians. Make sure you're a member on there as well. Allison's here. I love it. Saying hi to everyone. Mark, thank you so much. I know who you are. Brilliant to have you here. Elizabeth is here. Kevin's here all the way from London or UK. Can I say London? The Hampstead and the Heath by the Shire, by the whatever. I get so confused when it comes to locations in the UK. Brilliant. And you're new as well. Please, please, please let me know where you're from. Project tonight. So some time ago, I made these laundry detergent sort of containers that I customized for my laundry. This one I think might be from it's either Target or probably Kmart. And what I did is I put the laundry powder on the front, and then on the top I've got I had a hot and I had a cold, but they're really, really small and they're just not cutting it because I like to buy my washing powder in bulk when it's on sale. So I went to the shops, I'll move this one out of the way, and I found these larger canisters. I'll show you this one here. These larger canisters from IKEA. And again, there's a link in the description. Now, this is let me go to the double. So this is the IKEA 365 Plus range. They've got a whole range of glassware, and this is 1.7. Now, originally, I thought I'd actually accidentally, honestly, hand on my heart, I actually thought I'd shoplifted the lids because I thought they were charged separately, but no. They do come with lids, but you can actually choose glass or bamboo. And I just like the bamboo because I just think it's really, really nice. But as you can see, I'll show you side by side. Much, much bigger. And we're also going to go for a bit more of a luxe look tonight as well. So with this one, I use the shimmer, which hopefully you can sort of see, try and show you the sparkle. And I do love, I love the shimmer. Let me just try and show you without, hard to show you, but I love the shimmer vinyl from Cricut because it's really glittery, it's beautiful and sparkly, but it's not really, really chunky. It's really, really thin. But tonight we're going to use something a little bit different, and I've already done sort of one here, so you can see a lot different. Again, I'll just hold that up for the comparison. So much, much bigger, going to be much, much easier, but I want one for my hot and for my cold detergents. So that's what we're going to be making tonight. Now, the product that I've used tonight, I've used the Cricut Premium Vinyl. It's the Textured Metallic, which is probably my second favorite. I love shimmers are up here. Actually, this is probably a close second, but I do love the Textured Metallics. Now, this was a sampler pack, so it comes with a sort of a gold, a bronze, and almost, it is a black. So what I've used tonight, I've used the sort of goldy color. I've used the black. I was going to use the bronze, but I actually found in my stash the Textured Metallic, but in more of a gold color. So that's what I've used tonight. So I'm going to pop that aside. And again, links are in the description to all of this stuff. Mark saying he loves the bling. Yeah, I mean, I really like when it's a little bit subtle as well. And the Textured Metallics, even in the black, you won't be able to see it on camera, but it just has such a beautiful luxe kind of finish. You'll be able to see it more when we sort of look at the brighter metallics, but it's just got a really nice quality vibe to it. I'm going to tell you all about the fonts there, Sharon, so don't even stress about it. Not sure what that's about, but thank you, Linda, helping me out here. Diana's loving. I've got lots. I went shopping. I've got a giant blue bag. I actually bought one of the blue bags, and I've got lots of projects coming up with some of the really cool stuff. And Yvonne saying, not sure about being cheaper than therapy. Yeah, I'm not sure. To be honest, I'm not sure if it is cheaper than therapy, but certainly it is one of my therapies that I definitely go to. And Kevin is saying, yes, I'm in the Shire, Lancashire. Brilliant. And Linda's saying, happy place, cheaper than therapy sometimes. So yeah, that's making a little bit more sense now. And Mark's in Melbourne as well, another Melbourneite. Awesome. Okay, cool. So what are we going to need tonight? So I can probably move this out of the way. And I'm not going to do cutting, but I just wanted to call out a couple of things. Of course, we'll need our weeding tool. You'll see me use that, our scraper as well. The one thing that I want to call out as well, in particular, when you're dealing with these thicker materials, and I see this on Cricut for Australians all the time, people say I can't pick it up or it's not cutting properly, things like that. Shimmer vinyl, textured vinyl, your adhesive foil, matte, glossy, all of these things. There are settings in Cricut Design Space specifically to cut these materials. So you need to make sure you're selecting the right materials. Now, I cut the textured metallic on the standard setting With shimmer, I do like to bump up the pressure a little bit to more. And I just find I get a perfect cut every time. Yeah, if you're having problems, let me know in the comments and we can troubleshoot that. But that's just because a lot of times people are saying, oh, I'm cutting on vinyl, it's not working, or the transfer tape's not picking it up, which we'll talk about. And often it is user error, and that's how we learn, right? We make mistakes, and I've made all of them, and I'm here to share again my expertise based on all the mistakes I've made with you, so that hopefully you won't make them as well. I also like to use, again, with these thicker materials, a really sticky mat. So at the very least a green, but a really nice sticky green mat. Don't use a well worn out mat. And the brayer, right? You've seen me use a brayer before. This is so good for really sticking down those thicker materials as well. So just bear that in mind. And before I move on, I just want to show you I made these cute little shrinky dinks this week. How cute are they? They shrank about 60%. They are so cute. So I'll be doing a tutorial on those as well, but I just wanted to share that with you. And they actually have a matte side, which you print on, but also a glossy side. So you can actually mirror your design if you want to have it a little bit more glossy, or you could pop resin on the top. The options are endless. So I'm really looking forward to doing a tutorial on that. So again, let me know in the comments if that's something you're interested in as well. So we can get rid of our mat now because we're not going to be doing any cutting. I also get a lot of comments or a lot of questions around my cutting mats. So these are self-healing mats from Cricut. So you can use your True Control knife or cutting knives on these and they self-heal. I have the small 12 by 12, which is lighter on the other side. But on my base, which everyone seems to love, this is the 18 by 24 inch. And it's like this color on the other side. I won't flip it because it's going to mess everything up. But I was going to say, but it has this beautiful design. If I actually just go to the overhead, let me go to the overhead. It has this beautiful mandala design on it as well. So I kind of use the two because I just think it's pretty. So again, links in the description if you're interested in those as well. Of course, we've got our transfer tape. So again, biggest thing that I see, I cannot pick this up with the transfer tape. Why not? Because you're using the wrong one. For the metallics, for the adhesive foils, those thicker materials, the shimmer, you need the strong transfer tape. Now this is a used one because I'm recycling and I'm using all my scraps. I want to make sure that I'm reusing this as much as I can. I'm hoping that I can actually use this for the entire project tonight, which would be awesome. The other thing that I've got here is Isocol from Woolworths. This is what I'm going to use to clean my surface as well as the glass, so that I'm going to get that perfect adhesion when I apply the vinyl to the glass. So this is really useful to pick up, and I've just got some cotton pads which I get from Amazon. I think I actually subscribe now because I use them for my face as well when I'm cleansing and moisturizing and all those good things and keeping my youthful looks. And yeah, so I think if you subscribe, which I do, I think they're like $2.27 for like 100. And they come sort of monthly, which is probably a lot. The other thing you want to make sure you've got is, best thing you can have in your craft room, a tea towel. So that's going to help us a lot as well. So quickly, going to jump into the comments and then we're going to get designing. Diana's asking, what kind of covering is on your mats? Mine is a clear plastic. Yep, mine's clear plastic as well. These ones, yep. So exactly the same as yours. That one just happens to be a green mat. Suzette's interested in shrinkies. Awesome. They're so fun. I remember doing it as a kid. We shrunk chip packets, and I used to think that they smelled of chips, and now I think they probably just smelled of plastic, which I still loved when I was a kid. Oh, Suzanne's here from Secret Harbour in WA. I've never heard of it. So thank you for joining. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Awesome. Lots of interest with the Shrinky Dinks, which is cool. So thank you so much. Alison's saying she's having crafting withdrawals as her house is packed up in storage waiting for a new home in June. Well, just the new home, I'm thinking organising the laundry, organising all the other rooms. The advice I give you is take your time. I'm going to be in a similar position soon, and just take your time and do everything just the way you want. So congratulations on your new home. Okie dokie. So let's jump into Design Space. I need my keyboard. And we're gonna I've already got a design and a template that I'm gonna share with you and my pinned post on Facebook. But I just wanted to show you exactly how I went about it and also just give you a couple of little tips and tricks and things so you can make these, even if they're larger designs that may not fit the Joy, you can make them fit the Joy. So I just want to kind of, go through a bit of that. So the first thing that I did is I searched images and I typed in, can we guess? Laundry. And there are so many images that you can use in Cricut Design Space. I subscribe to Cricut Design Space. You can use your own fonts. You can upload your own images. That's completely up to you. Just so you know, I can only share projects that I make on these lives if I only use Cricut Design Space images. And the reason for that is that's the only way that Cricut knows that copyright is being protected. So that, just so you know, that's why. But you can use these as templates. You can use part of it. You can delete it. You can remove parts you don't want to have. Completely up to you. So I'm just going to select this one. And I'm just going to make it a little bigger. I'm going to make it stupid big. And I'm then going to add some text. Now, one of my favorite fonts, you would have seen me use this before. I'm just going to type the word powder. And I'll move it down here. One of my favorite fonts, so going up to the top left, I'm going to choose a font. You can filter if you want by system or Cricut. I'm going to choose Cricut because, again, I need to be able to share it with you. This is a Cricut font, and it's one of Anna's, I'm going to type it correctly, one of Anna's, with the apostrophe S, fancy fonts, and it's this one called Carson. Okay, now it is part of the Access subscription, or you can buy it as a one-off. But I just love this. I really, really love this font. And then I'm going to make that stupid big as well. Let's make it this big. We'll say the width, I'm just going to go up to the top and change the width to 11 inches. And I'll change the size of this as well to 11 inches. And again, this is just so you can see it. We can obviously resize it depending on the canister that you have. But you can see, I don't know if you can see, but this is a slightly different color. So first things first, I can go up to the top and under basic operation, click on the color and change it to black. And now they're identical. But I also want to make sure that they are aligned, because one could be over here and one's over here, or it looks aligned, but maybe you've got a wonky head like me and it's really not aligned. So what we can do is we can just select all. Now you can do that by dragging your mouse over like I just did, or you can do Control A or Command A on a Mac. Go up to the top and click Align, and we want to center horizontally. And now we know they are perfectly aligned. Now, typically what we would do is we would attach or we would weld so that they would be one image, or they're going to cut exactly where they were. So let's weld in this instance. Now you could attach in this instance, but I wanted to show you, if you went into Cricut Design Space and you saw this image, this was the image, let's say, right? Now, if I click, I've got selected on the top right, I've got my machine selected for Joy. If I click Make It, it's going to say it's incompatible. It's too large. So if you ever find this, you find an image in Design Space and it's too big to cut on your Joy, what you can do, and the tips are coming, all right? So I hope you've got your notepads out or you're saving this video. We can add a shape, and I'm going to choose a square. You can choose any image you want, but a square is going to make a lot of sense in this regard. We're going to unlock the dimensions because we don't want to keep it as a square. We're going to make it a bit of a rectangle. Now, hot tip. This one is so useful. I could resize this over here and I think, yep, nailed it. That's fine. But I'm not really sure because I can't see behind it. Well, do you want to see behind it? Let's change up the top operation. We're going to change this to Draw Pen. Boom. We can now see behind it. So what we can do is we can reposition this. I can make this box whatever shape I want, knowing I'm capturing everything that I need to slice, which is what we're going to do. Then I can change it back to cut. All right. So now it's going to cut image. I'm going to select both of these and then I'm going to click Slice. Now, when I've removed some of these other layers, what that means now is they are two separate images. So if I click make it, and I've still made it too big because I made it super giant, but let's go a little bit smaller. Now that I can make it, I can now cut that on a joy, even though it's a larger project. So I could just layer it up and just put one. I could do laundry, put that on the glass canister first, and then I could put powder as well. But tonight what I wanted to show you as well, so I'm just going to undo, so Command Z or Control Z to undo, or up the very top you've got the undo and redo arrows. So we're just going to take this back to when it was a still sort of separate images. But what we're going to do is we're going to select all again. We're going to align horizontally so that they're perfectly aligned, and we can attach this. We don't need to weld it because there's nothing that's interconnecting. Laundry is already an image, but if laundry was a font, a script font, then you would want to weld it, and that way it would cut as one piece versus cutting out every individual letter and then cutting into itself, if that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, let me know in the comments. So before we move on, I'm just going to jump into the comments and just make sure I'm not missing anything. Yvonne's saying, great tip, excellent. And Diana's saying, thank you, thought I was seeing things on the mat, awesome. Thank you, you guys are amazing. Thank you for helping me out. Sharon remembers all the shrinking of the chip packets as well. And Linda's asking, why do we need the tea towel? Well, you have to wait for that. Excellent. All right. So it doesn't look like I'm missing too much. So now we've got this there. This is one image. Now, if I was to cut this, which I totally could, I don't know how familiar you are with weeding, but you know that I am terrible at it. And if I'm weeding a large piece, and particularly when it's text, if I'm pulling all of that away from this image that I've cut, it can get really messy. Like I'm trying to hold on to the vinyl that I'm weeding away. I'm trying not to lift other vinyl. I'm trying to not let it stick to itself and things like that. So what I wanted to show you is a technique which would be referred to as weeding boxes. And there's a couple of ways that we can do that. So let's look at that. First things first. So I'm going to change my machine type to Maker. And if I click to Make It, you can see this is my image here. It's going to cut as one large piece. Okay, so I'm just going to cancel that. I'm going to go back to my shapes and I'm going to choose another square. I'm going to unlock it, and then I'm going to go up to Operation and I'm going to choose Pen so I can see through it. All right, and then I'm just going to reposition this and I'm going to move this where I want it. All right, then I'm going to change it back to Basic Cut. Okay, and then I'm going to select all, and I'm going to do something different. Sorry, I'll show you exactly what I did for this one. I made it all, unlock the dimensions again. So make it all over your design. All right, so making sure that it's cutting all that way. Change it to Basic Cut. Right click, send it to back, and then we can select all and we can attach. So now if we click Make It, you can see now that I'm cutting that outside square as well. But that's not really going to help me because when I peel away that layer, I'm going to be in the same position, right? So I'm going to click Cancel, and what I'm also going to do is go to Shapes. I'm going to click a score line. All right, now here's another tip for you. With your score lines, or when you're moving anything on your Design Space canvas, if you hold Shift down and then use the rotate, it will move in 15-degree increments. So you can see now I've got a perfectly horizontal line. So that's really useful when you're doing other types of designs. But now I'm going to move it over here, and so this one currently is 11.65 inches. So I'm going to select my score line, and I'm going to make the height, because I actually did flip it. So I think the height is actually now the width, and I'm going to make it, just for demonstration purposes, 12 inches. So it's going to be longer than this design. Okay, so I'm going to move that up sort of around the middle and in between the words laundry and powder. And I'm going to go up to the top in operation and change it from score to basic. So now it's actually going to cut. Okay, so when I select all, so again, just use your mouse and drag, or Control A or a Command A on a Mac. You can basically, so let me detach everything and attach everything. And then now, when I click and make it, and again, this is a lot larger for demonstration purposes, what it's going to do is going to cut this rectangle around the words, but it's also going to slice or cut right in between them. And what that's going to enable me to do is weed one word at a time. Okay, now you can use this for all sorts of things. You might just have a really complicated design and something's really fiddly up in one corner, and you could draw a box around just that, so that when it comes to weeding that piece, you're not having to deal with, again, holding on to all that vinyl and weeding it all accordingly. But this is really, really useful, and I hope, again, let me know in the comments if you think this is useful, or you didn't know about it, or you do it all the time, or if you've got any other tips that you want to share with the other people watching as well. So effectively, for my design, I'm ultimately made it 5 inches wide, and then I cut it out, and I cut it out twice. Now we're going to go to the weeding, but before we do, again, I'll just check and make sure that I'm not missing any comments here. Yeah, so Diana, you're obviously using weeding boxes. Let us know what you use them for. Super, super useful. Yvonne saying, what is a weeding box? Well, hopefully I just explained that. If I didn't, I'm terrible at what I'm doing. Yvonne saying, great tip. Awesome. All right, so let's go and move that finally out of the way, and we'll go to the 2-camera shot. And here is one that I prepared earlier. So can you see the cut lines there? Probably a little bit tricky to see. So I'm going to show you exactly what this is all going to look like. So I'm taking my weeding tool. First things first, I'm going to take out the 1/4 inch, protective area that's cut around the entire design. All right. And now we've got, and hopefully you can see there is a line. It's hard to see, but you'll see it shortly. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to weed the larger word, which is laundry. So picking up the corner. And you can see our word powder here is on a separate piece. So all I have to worry about right now is making sure that the word laundry stays on my backing, because that's another thing as well. If you're weeding and something it comes up, you're like trying to push it back and it's sticking back on itself. That can be really annoying, particularly if it's a really large piece that you are weeding. So I'm just going to finish weeding this word. I wish you could see I will post a photo obviously on Instagram tomorrow when I take a nice pretty photo. And now I'm going to go with powder. Now, the one thing I will say, let me try and get this with ease. So the ease, some of the letters with this particular font, they have little extra pieces. So you just want to be really, really careful that you don't weed those. If you do, it actually doesn't matter. I have made that mistake before, weeded and forgot. I didn't realize I'd actually lifted them up. But be mindful and go slow with this one as well, because you can see these really fine, intricate pieces on the middle, and you can see my E's coming up here, and it's all staying put. Oh, no, so you can see that actually lifted. I'm going to pop that down. E's are a bit of a problem with this font. So just make sure I'm going to nudge that back into place. Boom. So again, just go slow, take your time. It's not a race. One of the reasons why I didn't want to weed all of this on camera is because, I'm terrible at it. I'm so slow. People are so fast compared to me. But I just wanted to obviously show you one. The other thing that I'll say now with this font as well, you've got your inner parts of your letters. So with your R, your D, your O, and your P, they are actually attached to really fine pieces on the left of the letters. So don't go with the fine piece first. Weed the larger piece, and probably the best example I can give you, I'll give you the D first. So if I grab the larger inner part of the D, and I'll just make sure this is going to show on camera, as I lift this, you'll see there is another, can you see that coming up there? So don't weed the fine and then try to go to the larger part. It's much easier to grab the larger part, which will then pick up the that really fine detail. And I'll show you again on the O. So I'm grabbing the large opening or the negative space for the O, and as I grab it, I'm just looking at my camera. Oh, it's pulling everything up. Of course it is. Okay. So this is why you need to go slow. Don't rush anything. Can you see it's pulling up that fine piece of the O as well? Can you see what I'm saying there? See how it's attached to this fine piece. So I love this font, but I just wanted to give you those tips as well. I use this font quite a bit actually. And again, with the P. So there we go. We're done. With the vinyl, I've used, again, for that more luxe look. So in my old version, I used red for hot and blue for cold, and you can do that as well. But with these, I've thought I'd go for more of a warmer, that bronzy tone for the warm, and then the goldy tone is going to be for cold. Yeah. Diana saying that baby powder is really good for use for showing up weeding lines. Totally. Now, I have a Cricut Bright Pad as well. I can see these weeding lines under this light, but of course it's not going to show up too well on camera. Yes, that's a really, really good tip. So baby powder. All right, let's do the application. So let's open up our lid. Let's get that off. And I just left this on because I wanted to remember what they were actually called. And there's a sticker on here as well. These are bamboo. Now, I've not had trouble with bamboo lids in the past. If you are ever having issues with wood in particular, so one thing you can do with wood is you can use iron-on, which is really great for wood projects. But this wouldn't be good because it's got a bit of a dip in there. But if you saw my video for the Santa tray, and if you haven't, I'll link a video up here. But with the Santa tray, it just wouldn't stick. It was being really, really problematic, and it was being very temperamental. You can leave it on overnight, come back the next day, and then remove your transfer taping. I think you'll find that actually works quite well. So, tea-towel. Linda, are you watching? This is what you need your tea-towel for. Okay. This is what's going to help us hold our glass jar. And I'm just going to try and, I can feel the seams on the side of the glass. So I know that is the front. And I'm going to take my icicle that I showed you before, cotton pad on there, and then I'm just going to clean my surface. So this removes any oils from your hands, any dust, anything that's going to stop that beautiful adhesion to your surface. So definitely want to get yourself some of this, right? And again, I'm just making sure I'm on the front. Cool. Now, again, I'm on a standing desk, so it's hard for me to obviously look right down and, be 100% sure that I'm nailing it. But that's, you'll be on a lower desk, but I would always suggest maybe stand up and so you can look right down at your project. The Cricut cutting mats are great for this as well because, of course, you've got lines that you can work with, that you can visually see exactly what you're doing. But I'm just going to move this up slightly while we put on our transfer tape. So here's my transfer tape. I've reused this. So we just want to pick, I've already used this before, so we just want to pick up a corner, do that with my weeding tool. It has lines on it as well, so if you can, it's always good, I find, to try, and apologies my head gets in the way, but to try and line up part of your design with those lines, because, and then just pop that down, because when you're doing the application as well, if those lines are straight, then that will help your head see it straight as well. So I'm just using my scraper tool just to burnish it onto the transfer tape. And then I'm going to pick this up. And I do find with the thicker materials, it's always good just to go over it on the back. I don't rub furiously hard, but sometimes with the thicker materials, you have to be a little bit firm. And then, of course, I never remove my transfer tape off my backing. I always remove my backing and I pull it right back on itself. I always remove my backing from the transfer tape. And again, go slow. If anything lifts up, you can just push it back down. So like that. So that's lifting a little bit. Just pop it back down. And this is another time when you just want to go slow. You know, sometimes it's going really well and you're like, yay! And then you whip it off and you haven't quite nailed it. So I'm sticking to myself here. Okay, so removing our transfer tape, and then we'll move our glass jar down here, making sure you can see it as well. And now I've obviously done one already, so I'm hoping that I kind of line this up. Now what I do is I try and get my fingers as close to the design as possible so that I can eyeball and think, yep, that's kind of in the middle. I mean, it's a round surface, so it's not really going to matter. But the main thing is that you get it horizontal. So I'm just going to pop that down. And then I'm going to take my scraper tool and burnish it again. Making sure that it's stuck down. You can use I like to use my finger for this as well normally. So normally I'll just, give it a good going over, make sure getting all of those bits and pieces and all of the letters, and I can feel it kind of stuck down. But the burnishing tool is great as well. And if I'm happy with that, now I'm going to remove my transfer tape. So again, I pull it right back on itself. So hopefully you can see I'm just literally rolling it back right on itself, making sure that everything, of course, is adhering and not lifting. If it is lifting, I can roll it back, burnish a little bit more. Again, this is not something you want to rush. Take your time, making sure that that is adhering properly. Now this is a permanent vinyl, so let it cure. Mine are in the laundry. My other ones are in the laundry. I've had these, I don't know how long, I've had them for the longest time, but they get wiped down. No issues at all. But if you were selling this or you were making this as a gift, you want to make sure that you let it cure for at least 24, 48 hours before you give it to somebody else. All right, so that's the glass jars done. Now we just need to do the tops, the lids. So let's do that now. And I'm going to reuse, in the spirit of reusing transfer tape, I'm going to cut this down. Don't probably do that with your scissors. And hopefully we can use the same piece as well. I'm all about reusing this year or last year and this year as well. I want to continue as much as I want. I'm going to refuse to open up new rolls of vinyl and product unless I have to, and I'm going to reuse all of the transfer tape as much as I possibly can as well. So again, we're just picking up our transfer tape. So this has already been used for 2 applications. We're going on to our third. Another good tip, if we move this out the way, if you can see this, is sometimes I do like to kind of give it a bit of a curve when I'm putting it down. So if we curve it while we put it down and then sort of push it down onto the design, we make sure that it burnishes down really, really nicely and there's no sort of bubbles or crinkles in your design before you do the application. Okay, so again, flipping it over, right back on itself. These, the sun and also the snowflake are in the project that I'll share on my Facebook page as well. So if you want to do exactly what I'm doing, you'll have everything that you need to do that. So here we go. Hopefully you can see this. Again, get my big fat head in the way, just eyeballing it. Again, your Cricut mat is actually really good for this. So if I get it on the middle horizontally and also vertically, then I can kind of visually work out where that needs to go. And then when I go with my transfer tape, my finger, and this is a good one for the finger because this is, I'll get my smaller scraper tool, burnish that down, and then we'll remove that. Oh, so pretty. Look at that. Oh God, that textured metallic, isn't it beautiful? So beautiful. And there we go. So that's our, what's that going to be? Our hot. Okay. So on there, we've got our laundry powder, and then we'll do our second one, which you'll probably be able to see a little bit better now. We've got put a bit of white paper in, but you can see again that texture on the black. And the texture on the black is just so nice because it doesn't look like it has texture. And then you get up close to it and you're like, wow, that's really, really pretty. So next thing, our snowflakes. So again, just bending it in the middle, applying down our transfer tape, burnish on the top, burnish on the back, remove our transfer or our backing from our vinyl, and again moving our lid to the middle of the mat just to help us eyeball it. And I'm going to go this way, middle, that feels right. Boom, done. How easy was that? I really, really hope that you'll make this project or do something similar, or if you do something and you're just using weeding boxes or whatever, let me know. Okay, yeah, I'm going to pop this to the side in the hope that I could potentially reuse that as well. So just sticking the transfer tape back onto the backing. So I've got a couple of scrap pieces now that I can reuse, which is awesome. So we'll keep that in our scraps. And look, a beautiful gold luxe textured, oh, just love it. So there we go. We've got our 2 laundry canisters, hot and cold, all ready to go. So again, I'm just going to quickly check your comments and then I'll tell you about next week and also this weekend, which is going to be so fun. Brendan's loving the textured vinyl. It's, oh gosh, it's just so beautiful. Rita's loving it. Good to see you here, Rita. Thank you. Diana said it looks lovely. Allison's saying, line it up with the lines on the mat. Yeah, looking through the glass. Exactly. I mean, look, the reason that I also had my T-towel, I think, so it's good for stability, but also if you saw, I angled it slightly, so it was looking at me, so it wasn't, because normally, again, you would normally be looking right over. So normally you could have 2 T-towels propping up your glass or whatever you're doing just to hold it flat. And yes, absolutely. Then I would have known, I definitely would have nailed that height as well. I'm just looking at I did pretty well actually. Just having a look. But yeah, great tip. Absolutely great tip. Linda's saying, yes, I'm watching. Fair enough. I have a holder made of pool noodles that keep my glasses, bottles from moving. Yeah. So again, let me know in the comments, what are your tips for keeping everything really, really straight? Julie, I'm using the Cricut textured metallic vinyls, and they do come in a sampler pack. This one I used, which comes with the sort of gold, the bronze, and the black. And but I also had some light gold in my stash as well. All right. Chris is saying you should do blue and red offset around the hot and cold. Stop it. Now you're giving me all the ideas because I love shimmer, and this project was going to be shimmer. I went, no, I'm going to do something different. I'm obsessed with shimmer. Brilliant. Simsha, I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. Never knew about this. Thanks. We'll be trying it. Brilliant. Mark saying, love it. Very helpful as a newbie. So that's music to my ears. I do like to start with projects that are a little bit, have that basic element, but also that advanced or intermediate level as well. So next Thursday, Cricket for Australians, 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, in the Cricket for Australians Facebook group. Again, link in the description. Natalie, yay, Natalie's back. So Natalie will be live, and she's going to be doing the Mother's Day tiles. So we've seen them in the group, we've seen them on Instagram and all over the place. She'll be showing you how you can recreate your own using the offset feature as well. So I'm super excited for that. But this weekend, I have to, and I've got to get my notes because I'm definitely going to forget. I've got to give a huge shout out on Cricket for Australians for Belinda Darwin, and Darwin is Darwen. And I say that because in Australia, we have a city called Darwin, and we would probably spell it differently. But she did an incredible baby announcement with cardstock, and I had been planning to do a live on something very, very similar, but a little bit different. And anyway, you guys loved it. So I'm going to show you exactly how you can create your own. It's a layered cardstock project with the baby's name, their weight, their measurements, all of that fun stuff, completely personalized. And I get to make it for my beautiful niece, Maggie, which is super, super exciting. It also incorporates a photo element as well if you want to add a photo. So that's happening on Sunday at 11 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So again, Belinda Darwin, but if you want to check her out on Instagram, her Instagram handle is Framed by Belinda, and she does incredible work with styling for birthdays and events. She does a lot of work with floristry as well, and they are stunning. So make sure you check that out and follow her as well. But that's what's coming up next. Again, let me know in the comments if you've got any questions, anything I can help with. So good to see you all, and I will see you all on Sunday, I hope. Bye.